We wanted to put in a quick disclaimer before this episode. We talk a lot about Greek and Roman myth, which unfortunately, as a whole, includes a lot of violence and also mentions of suicide and sexual assault. So just as a content warning for anyone listening, we do mention these things, but I hope that we dealt with it delicately. So
it's also not just a mention. My story in particular, that's the topic.
Yes.
In a cool, badass way, I'm not going to lie. I love the story. It makes me feel very empowered. But I talk about it a lot. It is a content warning. But we hope you enjoy them. Hello and welcome
to Sword of the Story,
a very special edition.
Janey has COVID.
Janey's got COVID so fucking bad, you guys.
She's got the biggest COVID of all time.
No one's ever had COVID big. I shouldn't say that. The whole world's had bigger COVID than me. In the grand scheme of things, my COVID is pretty great.
Yeah, Janey hasn't had COVID up until this point.
I feel like I've been pretty,
knowledge.
I feel like I've been pretty careful about it.
Yes.
Too. I really don't think I've gotten COVID up till this point.
Janey took a COVID test, and I took a COVID test at the same time because I had a sore throat. And my test did the thing where it has like the 2 lines, and if it shows both lines, it's positive.
There's like a C line and a T line, and the C line will show up no matter what. And then the T line will show up later, and that's how you know if it's positive. If you just have the C line, you're negative. If you only have the T line, that means the test is broken.
Yes. So usually what happens is you put the little drop in the thing, and then the C line shows up, and then sometime within the next 15 minutes, the T line shows up if it's positive.
And the C line won't show up right away usually. It'll take like a minute, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Janey put her drop in the test, and the liquid got to the T line, and there was just a massive, black strike across the test. And I was like, I think that means it's invalid. And she was like, I think that just means that it's positive. So I made her take another test with her poor, inflamed sinuses and everything like that. Oh my God,
guys, sneezing
and it did the same thing.
Crying. And meanwhile, as I was taking the other test, a minute later, that goddamn other test C line showed up, and I was like, this is just positive. And Max is like, we can't be sure. Stab yourself again.
It was the most positive a test has ever been.
It was comically fast. It was like we were being screamed at, why don't you believe me?
I was still testing negative as of Wednesday, but I already had COVID, so getting it a second time, my symptoms won't be as severe, and I'm less likely to show up on a rapid test. So we're just acting as though we all have COVID at this point.
Yeah.
And in celebration of that, this week, we're going to be doing some stories from Ovid.
Yeah, this is Max's adorable, morbidly adorable idea.
We're doing some COVID with Ovid.
I am so excited. We're doing Greek/Roman mythology.
Yes. So we're both doing stories from Ovid's Metamorphoses. And just so you're aware, this episode, our voices, and specifically Janey's voice, is going to be not the best. So
if you hear a death rattle, that's me.
It's normal.
Move the fuck on. Before we actually move on, can I just say,
yes,
our good friend Jennifer Haining, apparently she goes by Jennifer to everyone else except for me. Rude.
It is rude.
Jennifer Haining is the COVID compliance manager at the Public Theater in New York City. And I told her, I was like, well, the silver lining is that I get it now and then I'll be good for 6 months. And she was like, no. Apparently that's some misinformation that's been going around, especially about this new strain of COVID. So just so you guys know, I'm going to do this very quickly. I'm just going to read to you what she told me so that we're all on the same page. She says, Paxlovid can cause reinfection for up to 2 weeks out from your first infection, meaning I'm going to be wearing masks and social distancing as much as I can because in 2 weeks I could get COVID again until those antibodies go up. And then I'm not immune past about a month with this new strain. So that means in 30 days I could get COVID again. And I'm saying I because I'm very selfish, but also that's everyone. But you will likely be good for 90 days. So it's between a month and 90 days. You'll be good, but it's not 6 months.
But that doesn't mean that you should stop taking precautions,
yes.
Is the point. Please make sure that you're continuing to wash your hands, wear a mask, social distance at 6 feet whenever possible.
Yes. She said close contact Forgetting it is within 6 feet for 10 minutes or more. You can't just walk by someone or touch a surface and get it. All the surface cleaning we did was useless, but it was cute and we tried. LOL. Also, the big thing that I didn't know is apparently cloth masks aren't even a little bit effective. They call it COVID theater. And at this point, experts are like, hey, just don't wear anything. Just don't wear anything on your face. Because
if you're going to be wearing a cloth mask.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, you might as well. It's the equivalent of not wearing anything on your face. Cloth masks don't protect you or anyone else. Instead, she said, at the very least, if you're going to wear a cloth mask, get one that has a pocket for a filter and put a carbon filter in there. And that will be good enough, especially if you're not going to be like right next to people if you're walking through stores. Then wear that cloth mask with the carbon filter in it.
You can also, if you bought a lot of really cute cloth masks like I did, you can wear an N95 or a KN95 mask with your cloth mask over top.
Yeah, which is even better.
Because I got a lot of ones that like match my outfits and stuff because I'm dramatic as fuck.
Oh my god, and she looked hot as hell.
So, you still have options, but definitely medical grade protective equipment is what is required. So,
how fun.
So stay safe out there. We really don't want any of you guys to get sick. So please, please, please be careful.
Yeah.
This is the podcast where we tell you guys stories, so let's do that.
Oh, I'm so excited to get into this. What were you thinking when you were researching your story today?
I was thinking about how excited I am to talk about Atalanta.
Oh, are you actually talking about Atalanta?
I am.
Okay, so I actually don't know the story of Atalanta. Every time I've tried to read it, I have lost interest. And that's not because it's not interesting, it's because I've never been in the mood to read when I start reading Atalanta.
Yeah. She's great, and I'm excited to tell you about her. What were you thinking when you were...
I was thinking that I want to cause a riot.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, I'm really excited about mine.
I love it.
Before we get into, I know we've already done some stuff, but do you want to talk very quickly? Because
Yes.
I cover a lot of Greek mythology with just my art content.
Which also, if you don't already, you should follow Janey at Janey Illustration on TikTok and Instagram, because she is very talented and good, and she tells a lot of cool stories there as well. Without me.
Thank you, friend.
And I'm all alone.
Okay, well...
Nobody will tell stories with me.
Oh, this turned real bad real quick. Listen, you're basically the co-host to my personal TikTok.
That's true.
You are famous via my TikTok.
It's true. It's really weird.
So I want to talk very quickly. Since we're both doing Ovid, I was like, let's just do a brief history of Ovid and then also talk about why Max and I will both probably, I assume, be using Greek god names instead of the Roman god names that Ovid uses, and why you should just unwad your panties or move on from this episode. Go back and listen to episode 17. It's great. You'll love it. But otherwise, let's listen up. God, can you tell I'm so bitter?
Yes,
Janey... I get into this argument every fucking day.
Janey studied in Greece and has spent the past 2 years studying Greek mythology on her own time.
I'm writing a book.
And is writing a book about Greek mythology and Greek love stories in mythology. And people who she doesn't know still come onto her TikTok live and they're like,
Percy Jackson.
Actually, it's pronounced Hercules, not Heracles, or vice versa.
I do get that a lot, actually.
So, just trust us.
Yeah.
Just trust us.
Very quickly, here's a quick overview. Guys, this is fascinating, too. Ovid, whose real name was Publius Ovidius Naso. Publius. That sounds like an insult.
I actually came across the fact that his friends called him Naso. That was like his cute little nickname.
Naso's a cute fucking name.
It really is.
If we got another cat, we should name it Naso. A little poet. Ovidius. He was born in Sulmona, central Italy, in 43 BCE to wealthy landowners, so he was a rich boy. And he was meant to be in politics. He was supposed to be a senator, so they gave him, like, the best education money could buy. He was educated in Rome. Later on, he was educated in Greece for many years to prepare him for a senatorial career. As we all know, Greece is where democracy was born, so, like, it makes sense that they would be like, politics, go to Greece. He published his first book of poems called The Amores when he was 18 years old, and he was kind of like a big hit. When his father died later, he inherited the family fortune, and he renounced politics in favor of life as a poet. He had to wait till his dad died. He was, like, publishing poems in secret. In late 8 CE, I wonder if they meant BCE, who knows, Ovid was sent into exile on the orders of Emperor Augustus. We don't know why. Ovid wrote about it briefly, and all he said was error et carmen, which means a mistake in a poem. To me, that sounds like he wrote a poem that
pissed off
the ruling class. There were some rumors at the time that said he was having an affair with the emperor's daughter, Julia, but they were like, that's kind of unfounded, and also it makes more sense. Somebody actually mentioned in another forum I was reading that they were like, as we're gonna see in at least mine, Ovid fucking hated people in power. A lot of his poems, he talks about Greek mythology, specifically Roman mythology, and he's not a fan of the gods. He doesn't like the people in power. He thinks they abuse it. And writing all those stories that are so fucking leftist probably didn't make Emperor Augustus pretty happy. Somebody asked on Quora, why is Ovid's account of Greek mythology considered to be canon when he is a Roman poet? There's this amazing answer by somebody named Saul Agar Ward. I put the link in the description because this was like the best answer I've ever seen. And they said, basically, the idea of canon is a recent one. In case you don't know, when something is canon, it means it refers to an established order of things. So it's usually an order of events or a commentary on what really happened. So it's like whatever happened first, if it's mentioned there, that is canon. But that's like people talking about Marvel movies and shit and like the comic books. It's not talking about like ancient mythologies when the idea of canon was not a thing. Most religions, they say, do not have an established canon or an order of true accepted events. They were constantly evolving. And since it was a pantheon of gods, when somebody would add another god or give another name to the god, people were like, yeah, I'm just going to accept that. I'm going to also accept whatever myth that I relate to based on where I'm living, what social class I'm in, what my political beliefs are. Like, that's how it was. So whatever was being written at the time, multiple people were accepting that. Some people were accepting other myths, and they were moving on with their goddamn lives and not letting it start fights on the internet.
Yeah. Plus, because Greek and Roman society were so steeped in poetry and politics, these stories have been told and retold at various times throughout history, hundreds of years apart, and for various political reasons.
Yes.
So sometimes emperors would like commission a poem or something like that, which could tell a story that would be beneficial to them. So that might become a variation on the quote unquote established mythology that was previous. And we don't always have enough context in the modern era to know which one of them came first or what the meaning was behind it. Or some of them have a lot of like in jokes that we don't get because we are so far removed from the quote unquote canon.
We also lost most of the writings about this. Like when they burned the Library of Alexandria, we lost everything. Everything. It's a drop in the bucket what we have today. So somebody else asked, like, how come Ovid is so popular and like we're not like talking about anything else? And somebody was like, we have the most of Ovid's stuff.
Yeah. He has the most surviving text.
That's literally it, is that there's just so much of Ovid that we use that.
So it's not fair to say that one version of a story is correct or incorrect. And we've talked about this a couple times on the podcast before, where folklore and mythology are necessarily subjective. So you tell the story from the person you heard it from your own perspective. Every telling of the story changes the story in some way. And mythology is the same way, where, you know, if you think about these stories that were told and retold over the course of hundreds of years, they changed. So there's no way to say, oh, this story is right, because all versions of the story are right. There's no wrong way to tell a story.
And the idea of, this is what kills me about people coming onto my lives and my stuff as well, being like, I'm a Hellenist and you're disrespecting my religion. Like one of my mods said, this started the stupidest fight ever. One of my mods, I had a video of lightning and I talked a little bit about Zeus. One of my favorite, it's a succession myth of Zeus. It's one of my favorite stories of Zeus. And she responded with, Sky Daddy. And somebody was like, that's my religion. Please don't be disrespectful. And she was like, hey, fuck you. Because we know for a fact that Zeus, like the actual, like when we go back to the original translations, the word they were using for Zeus, which obviously wasn't Zeus, it was like Deus or something like that.
Yeah.
But it literally means like sky. It's like bright shining sky, and which makes sense because he was the god of the sky. So they were just calling him Sky. But they would also call him like Zeus Pater, which means father. So like the direct translation, you little bullshitters, is Sky Daddy. So like, unless you're gonna like come in there with the hours and hours of research and shit to go with it, teenagers reading Percy Jackson, can you please not get into fights with people on the internet if it's genuinely not harming you?
Yeah. Also, the lesson a little bit about Greek mythology and Greek religion in the ancient time is that people can celebrate different iterations of a religion that are personalized to themselves without making it everyone else's problem. So it's not, we never intend any offense to any group of people on this podcast.
especially
based
us,
on
we're
their
retelling
religion
myths.
or
Yeah.
anything like that. What we are telling here is stories, and that has its own inherent harm that can come with it. But if you don't want to hear this story, and if it changes your perspective on your religion, then don't listen to it.
And
Or you can take it into consideration and decide, I've heard that and I don't believe it and I don't want to have that as a part of my personal religion. And that's okay too.
And now I want to do my own research. Do it, please.
Yeah.
This is the last thing I want to say is Dr. George Sorant on another Quora response. I don't know if I should be using this as sources, but they were very interesting. But they mention at the very end of their response, there's no such thing as canon in ancient mythologies. That was basically made up by Christians who considered the Bible to be the one true word of God, but that was a relatively new thing in the scope of how old the earth is and how old humanity is.
Especially considering that there are like 700 different versions of the Bible.
Yeah.
It's hard to say that the Bible is canon when there isn't any one single Bible.
When we've also lost a lot of that text.
Yep.
Or when Christians have been like, no, that one's not actually part of ours.
Yup.
Okay, and with that, guys, let's just be cool. The point of this 20-minute long intro is be cool, all right?
Be cool, be safe.
Yeah. Wear a mask with a filter in it, and let's get started. Who's going first?
I don't know.
I think it might be you. Well, after all of that, I go first.
Oh, wow.
Are you fucking ready?
I am fucking ready.
Guys, I have talked so much on this podcast.
It's
we took Dayquil. We took
literally
shots
what
of
a
Dayquil
podcast
together
is.
before this. Bam. Let's do it. Okay, Max.
Okay, Janey.
Max, okay.
Okay, Janey.
Okay, so today I want to talk to you about book 6 of Ovid's Metamorphoses. It's called Of Praise and Punishment. In order to get into book 6, though, this is what I love about Ovid, because it's one continuous poem. Like, he didn't write separate stories, they all bleed into each other. So, book 6 actually begins with the end of book 5, which is Contests of Arms and Song. In that, the 9 daughters of Pyrrhus, I'm going to mispronounce things, guys, I'm so sorry. He's the king of Amathia, was overconfident of their musical talent. They were like, we are the most beautiful girls in the world, and we have beautiful voices of an angel. And so they were like, we're better than the Muses. We challenged them to a sing-off. And the Muses...
Pitch Perfect 3.
It was Pitch Perfect 3, the periods. So the Pyrrhides, not the periods. That sounds like a Pitch Perfect joke.
Pitch Perfect Pyrrhides.
Pitch Perfect 3, the periods. So the Muses were like, sure, we'll go ahead and rap battle you, and the Muses obviously won. And if you're thinking, I'm sure the Pyrrhides took this loss very well, you'd be wrong.
I wasn't thinking that anyways. So.
The Muses were like, hey, never insult us again. Maybe don't ever sing again because you greatly insulted us. Like, never fucking, don't call us to Earth to challenge us. Like, what the hell? We literally invented singing. And the Pyrrhides responded by, quote, shouting vulgarities and giving us the finger.
Quote?
That's a quote.
Holy shit.
I literally had to write that word for word because it's so fucking modern. And so the Muses turned those fingers into feathers and their arms into wings, and their faces were replaced with beaks. And here's another quote. As they tried to beat upon their breasts, bewailing their new situation, they all hang suspended, flapping in the air. The forest scandal, the parodies. The forest scandal is a great title.
Yeah.
Forest's scandal. It's hard for me to say. They were changed into 9 different types of birds. I thought it was all one bird, and I was like, is there a bird called the Pyrrhides? There's not. It's just a bunch of different ones, including, like, woodpeckers and goldfinches and noisy Jercontis pigeons. Okay, so thus starts book 6. That's how we lead in, okay? Because book 6 of Praise and Punishment starts with Athena. Ovid calls her Minerva. Again, I'm using the Greek words because they're more recognizable in this story. Athena is listening to the muse tell her this tale, and she's like, yes, girls, you did exactly right. Like, no mortal should be able to compare themselves to us. We should not be insulted. We're better than them. They're basically lowly worms. Like, yes, you did exactly right. And she says specifically, quote, to praise is insufficient. We will be praised, and we will not permit those who belittle our divinity to go unpunished. So, like, Athena's really wanting to go a step further as well. Like, we should be punishing anybody who thinks they're as good as we are.
Just full scorched earth.
She 100%, which is Athena's whole fucking thing, especially in Ovid. Ovid's Minerva Athena is scorched earth.
Mm-hmm.
I would say every other Athena is at best disinterested, unless you're a male hero who can get her stuff. So she remembers then that there is a girl named Arachne who is down on earth, and she is a weaver. Okay, so this is the tale of Arachne. You may know this, Max definitely knows this, but Athena is the goddess of warcraft. So not just war, but specifically the strategic parts of war. She's a badass. She wears a shield and a helmet. She carries a spear at all times. She has these discerning, wise, gray eyes because she's also the goddess of wisdom. But because she is still a woman, she can't just be all those badass things. She's also the goddess of, like, womanly things, specifically, like, weaving.
Like womanly crafts?
Yeah. But specifically, she's said to be like an amazing weaver. Mm-hmm. And so Arachne is down there on Earth, and she is a weaver as well. But her talents are so great that even though her father was just a lowly wool dyer, she grew up really poor. Her mother died when she was very young. So, like, she basically is a nobody. She's made herself famous far and wide because her tapestries are so gorgeous and perfect. People travel to see her work, even nymphs who would leave their vineyards on the slope of Mount Tmolus so they could see her tapestries, and just to watch her weave, because watching her weave felt like you were witnessing magic. She was so talented that people would often tell her, oh, you must have learned from Athena. Like, Athena must have taught you. Like, she must have come down and giving you all these gifts. To which Arachne was like, the fuck she did? Since when has Athena been known to come down to earth and, like, give specifically women anything? Like, name
Fair.
one fucking time. And then she was also like, I was born very poor. I have broken my fucking fingers on this loom, learning and teaching myself. And, like, I've had a lot of teachers down on earth that I attribute to this. I work every day tirelessly. I spent so much money investing in getting this up and off the ground. I promote myself. Like, are you fucking kidding? No. Athena didn't help me. I didn't get any handouts from gods. I did this. It's me. If you want to know who fostered my talent, it was literally me. And maybe my single father who's dyeing all the wool I'm using. So, like...
Shit.
Yeah.
Tell him.
She also said, let her come down here and compete with me. If she wins, I'll pay whatever she wants. But I'm not scared. That's a quote, Max.
Oh my god.
That's how she talked. And so Athena thought this was pretty disrespectful. A lot of stuff there that Athena wasn't a fan of. And so she decides to go down and teach her a lesson. So Athena does what anybody would do, especially as a goddess with all of her power. She puts on a wig. I wish I was exaggerating. It says she puts on a wig of counterfeit gray hair, and she gets a staff and pretends to totter around on a staff. So just imagine, like, a Golden Girls-esque, like, you know, old lady curls gray wig on top of her helmet.
Yeah, there was this animated movie called Hercules and Xena that I watched so much that the VCR tape shredded. Mm-hmm. It was my favorite movie. It's the animated Hercules and Xena TV shows. It was based on that. And Xena is voiced by Lucy Lawless.
Yes.
Just an excellent person. The guy who voices Hercules is the guy from the TV show, but I won't even name him because he sucks and he's bad. But in that, like, all of the gods, you can tell that they're gods because unless they are in disguise, they are like 10 feet tall, and they're like, their features are like carved out of stone, and they always look sort of like living statues a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I'm picturing Athena, 10 feet tall, with her crested helmet and everything, and all of her, like, battle armor, and an owl on her shoulder.
Shield.
And then a spirit Halloween witch wig. And a stick.
I'm not gonna lie, that might be the t-shirt. Yes, but that's also, like, I also put, she wore a wig, but she's probably still glowing like a literal divine being. Mm-hmm, so she comes down.
She just sails down from the clouds on
wearing a Halloween wig.
And then she gets down and she's like, did anyone see that? And then she puts on the wig and it's like the middle of the town square and everyone's like, what the fuck?
Hello, fellow old people. So she goes to
fellow mortals.
So she goes to Arachne. I imagine as well that as she's like putting on this wig, she's like, okay, now we're just gonna talk, okay? Like we're gonna be rational and calm. You can do this. And she gets to Arachne and she's like, hi, I'm old. Therefore,
Nice to meet you.
I'm pretty wise. And I advise you, just from my humble oldness, that you better be nicer to Athena and maybe ask for forgiveness, you whore. And Arachne is like, I think the trouble here is that you've lived too long and you are mistaking me for somebody related to you and therefore forced to care. So let me go ahead and tell you right now, if Athena is so great and also so real, why has she not accepted my challenge? Or is she scared? At which point Athena fucking rips off her wig and she's like, it's me, Athena! Everybody, the story, Ovid makes a point to be like, all the nymphs, there's a crowd around because they're all watching Arachne work, and they all like fall to their knees and they're like, we're not worthy! Everyone except Arachne, who's staring at her like, I mean, obviously.
Also,
you were so obvious. You have the power to shapeshift and you chose to put a spirit Halloween wig over your helmet.
Also, I love the testicular elephantitis of going to a goddess.
No, she was at her house. The goddess came to her.
That's fair. Of a goddess comes to your house and you're like, oh, I'm sorry. I think you mistook me for someone who gives a shit.
I think the problem is you might be too old. You know?
Maybe you're so old that you got so wise that you went back around to being stupid.
Yeah, we made it full circle. Yeah, she's a fucking badass. Now, Ovid does admit that she fleshes like a tiny bit. He's like, a flesh comes over her because she's like, I mean, yeah. And then immediately leaves. And then she just goes back to weaving and she's like, okay, let's do this. And Athena accepts her challenge and they prepare. They each go to their own looms. I'm not sure if she has 2 looms or if maybe Athena conjured up her own, which I'm guessing she did in all her supplies. Mm-hmm. But they sit at 2 separate looms. They draw their threads on the crossbeams of the yoke and they begin to weave. I know a lot about weaving. I don't. I copied that out of Ovid, who knows a lot about weaving. Ovid's kind of got a boner for weaving. Anyway. They are.
Who doesn't?
I know. That's what I'm saying. Ovid's like, TV doesn't exist yet. This is hot as hell.
You show me a shuttle going between 2
cocks
sets of... Nope. That's badminton.
Oh. You show me a birdie flying over a net, and that's weaving. Okay, so they are fast, they're accurate, people are gasping like they're watching a bare-knuckle boxing match. They are into it. They like a huge crowd has gathered to watch 2 women sit and weave. They're weaving in deep purple threads and shining gold. They're placing shades that lighten imperceptibly. Quote, as when a storm ends and the sun comes out and a rainbow's arc illuminates the sky, at which point I'm guessing Ovid had to take a break to like have that postcoital bliss. Yeah. He came, took a nap, and then he got right back to talking about weaving.
He experienced the vapors for a moment.
Did we say this podcast isn't for kids?
No, but it's fun.
It's not for kids. So eventually they finish, right? And everyone's like out of breath. Ladies have fainted. They're all like wiping sweat off of their brows. And then also Athena and Arachne's brows.
I like the idea also of like a 1920s radio sports announcer being like, and there she goes, Arachne with, she's going in with the red. That's a daring choice. And there's Athena. And she's she's getting on the ropes, literally.
Several women have fainted in the audience today. They might be dead, and we might be looking at criminal charges. More to you after the break. Okay, so eventually they finish. They present their tapestries to the very excited crowd, and Athena/Minerva goes first. So here's what I'm gonna describe exactly what both of them made, so that you know. And then we need to talk about the difference. Ovid's fucking great. So Athena decides to depict, obviously, how great the gods are. And I think the shining example that Athena has for depicting that is her victory over Poseidon. She goes to a city, basically, And she has a contest with Poseidon. The city has yet to be named, right? And so in this contest, they each present the city with a gift. Poseidon takes his trident, he slams it into the rock, and salt water like gushes forth. And it's a promise that the city, if they choose him as their patron, will always be successful in like ocean warfare, right? So she depicts this, right? The ocean spray coming out of the rocks is like really vivid. Athena shows herself, armed with a shiny shield and a sharp spear, helmet on her head, her breast protected by her shiny aegis. She looks like a fucking badass, right? She's a little buffer than she is, like she's really making it. She strikes her spear tip into the ground, and this beautiful olive tree grows up and is laden with ripe fruit. And people are like, oh my god, it's like I can almost taste it. Like, this is so realistic. And then up in the clouds, she shows the gods are all in the clouds and they're pointing and they're cheering and they're like, you know, really proud of her. And Zeus is looking at her like, that's my daughter. You could almost see him nod with pride in the clouds. And the people on the ground all have like hearts in their eyes and like huge boners.
Wow, 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 wow.
They're like, you can hear them chanting, Athena, Athena. And then this is basically, she takes the prize, and this is the myth behind the founding of the city of Athens. So that's what she showed, right? But this isn't it. Because no. Athena also had to threaten Arachne just a little bit via weaving. So she, around the edges, she depicts 4 scenes of what happens to mortals who offend the gods. And in the first scene, in the first like corner, she shows 2 Thracians, Rhodope and... This can't be right.
Hams.
Where's the book? Oh.
Hams.
Hold on. There's just no way that's not a computer thing.
Some honey baked hams.
Rhodope and some hams. Rhodope and Hamus. Okay, so it's Rhodope and Hamus, and my computer autocorrected it to Rhodope and Hams. She shows 2 Thracians, Rhodope and Hamus, and they're turning into a pair of mountains because they assumed the names of Zeus and Hera as their own. I guess they went around being like, yeah, we're Zeus and Zeus and Hera were like, no, you're mountains. Bam. Hams. In the second corner...
of hams.
It was a really surreal tapestry. In the second corner,
and delicious.
She shows the terrifying fate of the pygmy queen, who, after Hera defeated her, ordered her to transform herself into a big crane and then slaughter all of her subjects as this big old bird. In the third, she shows Antigone, who Hera turned into a stork, and no one could save her. Like, her brothers tried, her father tried, and it says, quote, she put white feathers on and now applauds herself with clacking beak. In the fourth corner, she reads a grieving man, Cinyras, clinging to the temple steps that used to be the limbs of his own daughters, and his tears look so real on the tapestry that they look wet. And so, finally, because that's not it, she's like, after the lecture in the form of a blanket, she weaves this beautiful, peaceful olive leaf border all around. And she's like, you see, I'm actually quite peaceful and forgiving. So,
and cool and hot and smart.
Yeah, just like olive leaves. Here we go. And she's like, I'm like really cool, don't you think? And everyone like applauds and like, you know, kisses her feet and stuff. So she's super pleased with herself. And she's like, obviously I'm not worried at all because I'm a goddess and I'm going to win. Follow that. But Arachne still had to present. And Arachne is like, okay, I see your threatening blanket. And I'm going to go ahead and give you the world's first fuck you, I'm writing a tell-all. And so Arachne decides to show what the gods are really like, specifically to women. This is why I like this myth so much. I can't think of a single other myth that makes me feel this way. So here's what she shows. It's long, so I'm going to do it fast. She shows Europa being tricked by Zeus in disguise as a bull coming out of the ocean. And it's done so realistically that you can almost feel the spray of the ocean. The girl is looking back at her lost land. She's crying for help. Her feet are withdrawing in terror from the surging flood. She shows Asteri, which I'm guessing is just another name for Ganymede. in an eagle's grip. If you don't know, Ganymede was a little boy kidnapped by Zeus and taken to be his child sex slave. Leda, she shows lying under a swan's wing, completely ruined. She shows how Jupiter, also Jove, also Zeus, disguises himself as a satyr and rapes the nymph Antiope, leaving her with twins. He also disguised himself as Amphitryon in order to rape Alcmene, who later gave birth to twins Iphicles, who was Amphitryon's real child, and Heracles, who was Zeus's child. That's the origin of Heracles. Mm-hmm. Also, so side note, the best part of this is that she's like, rape by deception is still rape. Mm-hmm. And she fucking calls this out.
Also, this whole thing is just like, hey, your dad.
This is your dad. She starts with her dad.
Yeah, it's the precursor to Yo Mama jokes. It's like, hey, your dad is a piece of shit.
He's a rapist.
He's the worst, actually.
Why are humans supposed to worship
This isn't
you?
a joke, as it turns out. This is just your dad is a piece of shit.
She shows Danae and the Golden Shower, Aegina, who was carried off by Zeus to an island no one could get to her, where he raped her repeatedly and left her with a child. Mnemosyne, goddess of memory, who was tricked by Zeus in disguise as a shepherd into spending 9 nights to him. Later on, she gave birth to the 9 muses. Also Persephone, who was, quote, ruined by a many-colored serpent. And this is probably, I've already looked this up, is probably a nod to the fact that Hades had many, many names. And in Ovid's retelling of the abduction of Persephone, it is harrowing. It is the worst fucking thing. She shows Poseidon/Neptune transforming into the fiercest looking bull with the maiden Canassi. Everything I've read says that she fell in love with Poseidon, who seduced her in the form of a bull, and I'm gonna go ahead and call bullshit, because Arachne obviously didn't think that. She shows how Poseidon carried off the beautiful Theophany and turned her into a sheep, and then himself into a ram to escape her many lovers who stalked her, and later on, as a sheep, she gave birth to the mythological golden fleeced ram.
From Jason and the Argonauts.
Mm-hmm. She showed how Demeter turned herself into a mare to get away from Poseidon's advances, but he turned himself into a stallion and raped her anyway. He showed that Poseidon did to She showed what Poseidon did to Medusa, which is fucking bold, because in Ovid's version of Medusa, Athena cursed Medusa out of jealousy and used Poseidon's attack as an excuse. So she basically also was like, also you're a victim blamer. But let's keep going. She showed Apollo taking many forms to seduce and rape women. She showed Dionysus and Arachne, who seduced her in the form of, quote, false grapes. Anyway.
It sounds like he dosed her drink.
Yeah, well, in the actual myth that I think Ovid does, it's like so unclear, but he disguises himself as grapes. And so
and then she fucks the grapes.
And you know what? Who's to say who's in the wrong? I don't want to kink shame, but like, Arachne. No. She shows Saturn breeding Chiron on a mare, which is gross. Mm-hmm. And all around, she was like, and also, I guess she like looked over at Athena's and saw she was making a border of beautiful flower, like olive leaves. And she was like, fine, we making pretty flowers. So she made her own fucking border that was basically just mocking Athena's. And it's of these beautiful flowers plaited into ivy. Like, oh yeah, we're peaceful here, right? And pretty? Mm-hmm. After making a rape tapestry. Wow. Yes. Okay, so that's all the stuff that she had in there. She literally wrote a tell-all book. And then so it was clear at the end that Arachne had outweaved Athena. She had way more stories in there. They were seamlessly blended. They were so brutal, but also so beautiful. People were like crying their eyes out looking at it. And not to mention, it was speaking to all of the mortals around her who were like, yeah, and the nymphs who were constantly being punished and raped and attacked. And so everyone was like, oh, wow. Maybe we're a little empowered by this move. At which point Athena loses her temper and punches Arachne in the face with her fist. And then punches her again. And then punches her again. And then literally keeps beating her in the head until Arachne is almost dead. At which point Arachne crawls away and tries to hang herself.
Jesus.
In front of everyone. This is a quote from Ovid, This is a quote from Ovid. She could not bear this, the ill-omened girl, and bravely fixed a noose around her throat. While she was hanging, Pallas, stirred to mercy, lifted her up. Keep that in mind. Athena said, quote, though you will hang, you must indeed live on, you wicked child, so that your future will be no less fearful than your present is. May the same punishment remain in place for you and yours forever. And she uses Hecate's herb to turn Arachne into a spider. So I just want to say, because I've read this a bunch of times, and this time it finally got to me, the like actual meaning is when he says Pallas was stirred to mercy, I always interpreted that as him being like, but she's actually still merciful, and so she saved her, which is how a lot of people read this. But the story ends with Athena basically saying, I'm doing this to continue to punish you.
Mm-hmm.
So that stirred to mercy line, Ovid's being fucking sarcastic.
Jesus.
And that's how the tale of Arachne ends.
And that's the origin story for spiders, arachnids.
Yes. Yep, that's it. So yeah, this is the most badass story I, to this day, have ever read. I fucking love that there's this ancient story about a woman to a god's face being like, I don't have to worship you. You guys rape us and kill us all the time. You're not a friend to women, Athena.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
I also love that.
Oh, it's so good.
I hate also that in general, like the version of story, like I had like the like kids book of Greek mythology when I was younger. And the story is like, oh, Arachne said that she was better than the gods and she was too prideful. And so Athena came down and outwove her. But, you know, Arachne was like, well, mine's obviously still better. And then Athena was like, well, if you're so good at weaving, then you can weave forever, and turned her into a spider, which doesn't get it makes it into a cautionary tale about not speaking up against the gods rather than a martyring tale of a woman who stands up to an abuser.
Yeah, and who speaks up for the masses and who isn't afraid to sacrifice herself. I will also say I've read the same exact ones. It's a story I always got for Arachne. I knew everything. Most people, even if you haven't read this, you know the tale of Arachne, right? Part of me wonders if Christians got a hold of this story and that was a lot of the reason why it became like, hey, we don't speak about the gods, right? You're not better than the god. You have to be humble. And it's fucking badass that a girl was like, no one fucking helped me. I did this myself.
Yeah.
Have that energy. Go forth and be Arachnes.
Also, I didn't research this, but like what I was saying earlier about the inherent politics of Greek and Roman mythology, Athena, the patron god of Athens. Athens is where most of the books were written and printed and where most of the poets would go. Yeah. So if you were going to say something, if you were going to talk shit about Athena, you weren't going to be able to publish. No. Also. So that could be part of the reason why this story
took so long to get to Ovid.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you're in the city of Athena, they're not going to be cool with you talking shit and being like, actually, Athena was an abuser or like a complicit to abuse. Yeah.
So it also is so cool. And okay, so when I think about these stories, it's easy to be like, this is such a different time. Like, I have nothing in common. And you can really distance yourself from this. But thinking about Ovid, who was in such close proximity to the Roman government and looking at how the Roman government treated the world and their own people and like just everything that was happening in Rome at the time that Ovid was alive, knowing that there was a writer who was this radical, that he was writing stories like this, no fucking wonder he was exiled. It's a wonder that he wasn't just straight up killed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So pretty cool. And also makes me feel like we're not so different after all, me and Ovid. I also hate the government.
And the patriarchy.
And Athena. Cool. Do you want to take a minor break to go? Oh. It's time to go. The ghost has spoken. Goodbye.
Okay, Janey.
Hit me.
I'm not gonna do that. You're sick.
Yeah, you have to be nice to me. I keep that's my catchphrase this week. If any,
also most weeks.
Yeah, but especially this week, if anyone is mean to me, or if the animals annoy me, or if like the machine doesn't have any ice in it, I'm like, you have to be nice to me. I'm sick. And this week it's so topical.
It really is.
I mean, don't hit me. You have to be nice to me. I'm sick.
So, Janey, the story that I've brought to you today is also from Ovid's Metamorphoses,
what?
As we previously discussed, believe it or not. Mine is from Book 8 of Ovid's Metamorphoses, Impious Acts and Exemplary Lives. So
I like that grouping.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And most of the stories within this section are named two people's names, like the two main players in each story. This one is Meleager and Althea. But I'm going to be telling the story of the Calydonian boar hunt.
I'm excited. I've never heard it.
So the region of Calydon, the kingdom of Calydon, is near Athens. And the king Aeneas, which his name literally translates to wine, he is, in addition to being the king, he's also a vintner. So he has a bunch of vineyards in this area. So this is primarily like a wine-producing region, this kingdom. That's their like export. That's the way that they make money. King Aeneas and his wife, Queen Althea, have a son named Meleager. This is just going to be important later.
Yeah.
The region
is a beautiful name.
Yes. The region of Calydon has been through a couple of really great years. Like, they've had great crops. They've had a bunch of wealth come to them. Things have just been going really well. They prayed to the gods for help. The gods helped them, right? And at the same time, you have Jason and the Argonauts and Theseus returning from their various battles. It's a time of, like, great prosperity in Greece, right?
Yeah.
So King Aeneas throws the traditional celebration of the gods in Calydon, where he thanks all of the gods for all of their gifts over the previous few years. He thanks Ceres, who in Greek mythology is Demeter, for all of the amazing crops that they've had. He thanks Minerva, Athena in Greek mythology, for her wisdom and their success in like war. And he thanks Bacchus or Dionysus for all of their amazing crops of wine, right?
Those are the big three. Those are some good three.
Those are some good three. King Aeneas agrees. You know who doesn't agree?
Who?
Artemis.
Fuck! You do not want to piss off Artemis!
Artemis, or Diana in Roman mythology, is in the same temple as the three of those gods, and they forget to thank her.
Oh no.
They are supposed to leave incense at her altar, and they are so busy thanking the other gods that they forget about her. And this is an affront of the highest degree.
Oh god.
And Artemis is she's not an angry person, but when she gets angry, she gets angry.
She gets straight up hateful.
Yes. So she sends a monstrous boar, a thing of nightmares, to terrorize the kingdom of Calydon. This boar is massive. It is bigger than any boar has any right to be. It's bigger than a bear. It has these long, sharp bristles and flaming red eyes. Actually, the description in this translation of Ovid, which is the Charles Martin translation, this description is amazing. So I'm just going to read that to you. A boar with blood and fire shining from his eyes and a neck stiff with bristles, just like spear shafts. And as his chest heaved with his grating breath, his heavy shoulders dripped with seething spume, which is like foam. Like he's sweating so much that he's foaming. In length, his tusks were like an elephant's, and bolts of lightning issued from his mouth. And when he exhaled, trees turned black and died. So this is not your average wild pig. This is this is a terror. This is a kaiju.
Considered giving him belly rubs. No one's tried it yet. I bet it wouldn't hurt.
So Artemis sends down the Calydonian boar.
Amazing.
And it terrorizes Calydon. And it tramples through all of the vineyards. And it gores people to death. It breaks down the walls of people's houses so that they all have to flee into the city surrounding the castle at the center of Calydon. Because if they're not behind the city's walls, they're afraid that they won't survive.
Yeah.
So this countryside is just being ravaged by this boar.
Jesus.
Right? So King Aeneas puts out a call for hunters to help take down this boar, and this hunting party will be led by his son, Meleager. So I'm going to go back a little bit. Meleager, son of King Aeneas and Queen Althea. When Meleager was born, his mother was holding him having just finished giving birth, and she, through some twist of fate, I guess, overhears the Fates talking about her son's life.
Oh.
And
see what you did there?
Yeah. She overhears the Fates saying that her son will live only as long as a piece of wood that is already burning in their family hearth.
Oh.
So she's sitting in front of this fireplace holding her newborn baby, and she overhears the Fates who spin the lives of humans and, like, you know, predict deaths. She hears them say, basically, this stick that's already in the fire and half burned will live as long as Meleager, because he is destined to die, like, immediately after being born.
Aww.
So Althea hears this, and I have a hard time not picturing this in like traditional Greek chorus and prose, where it's like iambic pentameter and everything, and they're speaking very like floridly and poetically, and they're like, Meleager, son of Altea and Aeneas, will live only so long as ember in thine hearth, blah. And Altea, Altea hears this, and she's like, oh, fuck that. And so she puts the baby down, she runs over to the fire, she grabs the still burning log, and she throws it in a bucket full of water, and she's like, take that.
So now it can never burn all the way through.
Exactly. So she takes this log, and she hides it away to protect her son. Mm-hmm. And as a result, Meleager lives, and he grows to be a strapping young man who is a talented hunter. He is unusually kind, and he's like the pride of Calydon, basically. So that's Meleager.
Okay.
Meleager is gathering his hunting party. There's like the Ocean's 11, like, we gotta get this guy and this guy. There are a bunch of different accounts of who is involved in the Calydonian boar hunt. Ovid lists like 70 people. The ones that are important, though, are Theseus.
Yes.
Theseus happens to be there, and he helps. Also...
Theseus is the son of Zeus? Or, no, he's the son of Poseidon.
I'm gonna do a quick little thing real quick. No, you're fine. So Theseus is the patron hero of the city of Thebes. Mm-hmm. So you have Athens, which claimed the hero Heracles as their hero.
Yeah.
And so everyone was like, yay, Athens! And the city of Thebes, in real history, the city of Thebes was like, we want a mythological hero. So they created Theseus. And if you look through the myths of Heracles and Theseus, Heracles slew a different giant boar. Yeah. And so Theseus slew like a sow or something like that. They were like, it was as bad as the boar. And so it's like they go through line by line of Heracles's mythology, and they're like, Theseus also did that, but hotter.
But was a little better.
And
also he has a cool tattoo of a motorcycle.
And a butt that is so good you would not believe.
You can bounce what did they use? Lyra?
Yeah.
You could bounce a lira off those cheeks.
I wanted to say a hectare, but I don't think that that's a
rock. Right off.
You could bounce a boar off that.
Boars bounced off those cheeks all day.
So that's Theseus. He has a bunch of his own myths and everything like that. He's one of the great heroes of Greek mythology. In addition, Meleager brings in his two uncles, his mother's brothers.
Sure.
Their names are Toxius, who is also known as Toxius the Archer.
Toxius.
Yes.
Fucking hate that guy.
And spoilers, he is toxic. And Plexippus, who doesn't have a little tag on his name, which has got to be a bummer.
Toxius and Plexiglass. My two uncles.
So he has his two uncles who are both also renowned hunters, who have, kind of taught him everything that he knows, right? Mm-hmm. So Theseus, his two uncles, a bunch of other people, right? And as he's going around and he's gathering up all of these hunters, he comes across a scene in a meadow. Okay. 2 centaurs, and this is a content warning real quick, 2 centaurs have come across a maiden in the woods and are attempting to rape her.
Aww.
Meleager is about to intervene. Actually, okay, I'm going to say this. This isn't in the story. This is referenced in the story. And in some accounts, it happens before, years before. It happens after. It could happen during the story. So I'm going to tell this as though it happened during the story, because I think it's good for the plot.
Yeah.
Fair. As he is coming upon this scene, he's about to intervene when the woman who the centaurs are attacking finally struggles around, and she pulls an ivory longbow from her back.
Yes, she does.
And in quick succession, fires 2 perfectly placed arrows through these centaurs, killing them instantly.
Yes.
Meleager sees this, and he falls in love immediately. And this is where we meet Atalanta.
Hell yeah, Atalanta. Queen of self-defense.
Atalanta, when she was born, her father wanted a son, and was very disappointed when his wife gave birth to a daughter. So they did something which was sort of customary in Greece at this time, which is called infant exposure, which is where they take a baby that they don't want and
Mostly
they put
girls.
it at the top of a mountain and then leave. And then the baby dies.
Exposure therapy. We know.
So her father takes her up to the top of Mount Parthenian and abandons this little baby girl at the top of the mountain.
So sad.
Fortunately for Atalanta, a mother bear who has recently lost her cubs to a group of hunters comes across this crying baby at the top of a mountain, and this bear wraps itself around her so that she won't get cold and suckles her from her bare teat. Important to note that a mother bear is one of the forms of Artemis. Sorry. Oh. My brain was like, Athena. No.
Athena would never.
Yeah.
She would see a baby girl and be like, ew. It's almost touched me.
So Artemis either taking the form of this mother bear or, projecting her will into this mother bear, protects the baby Atalanta, suckles her, keeps her alive for an undetermined amount of time. Eventually, the hunters, which killed the mother bear's cubs, come across them in a clearing. The mother bear runs away, and the hunters take this little baby and raise her.
They took her other cub!
Yeah. But they raise this little girl as their own. This, which is also, they don't go into it in the story.
It's like three men and a baby.
It is. So it's a group of male hunters deep in the woods who just find a baby, and they're like, found a little baby girl. Nah, that's our son. And so they train her as a hunter, and she quickly outpaces all of them in skill.
Yeah.
By the time that she's a young adult, she is the greatest hunter that there ever is.
Yeah, she had that sweet bear milk.
Yeah.
Isn't that like...
That's how you make your babies big and strong.
Isn't that like a brand of like power drink? I don't think so. Bear milk? It should be.
It should be.
Copyright sort of the story. Look out for bear milk in, what is it called? The workout stores?
Yes.
Yeah.
GNC.
GNC, not gym. Gyms aren't workout stores.
Sometimes they are. They do have like this. Anyways, check it out wherever protein powders are sold.
Bear milk.
Bear milk. Testosterone flavored. So she is not only one of the most talented hunters in all of Greece, she's also incredibly fast and very light on her feet. Mm-hmm. She is very strong. And she also, in part because of being a hunter, and also in part because of, being saved by this bear and, knowing that the bear is a symbol of Artemis, she grows up and she becomes a devotee to Artemis. So she dresses in a manner similar to Artemis, very simple, like just a simple tunic and, her hair swept back into a bun and everything like that. Very utilitarian. Mm-hmm. And she also commits herself to chastity. So she decides she never wants to be with a man ever. And, that's pretty cool of her.
Bears only.
Bears only.
I just got a wave of joy because I realized you were telling me a Greek myth I've never heard, and you were doing a really good job. And I was like, oh my God, I love this job. Anyway, I'm just like suddenly overwhelmed with how much I like this podcast. Go ahead.
Thanks, man. Me too.
Yeah. Bear milk. Go.
So that's Atalanta. That's how she was raised. In some stories, she's one of the Argonauts who went with Jason to fetch the Golden Fleece and the Minotaur and everything, like all of that. Mm-hmm. In some stories, she was going to be one of the Argonauts, and she had more skill than most of the Argonauts, but Jason was like, I really want you with us, but if you're on board, these men will not be able to concentrate. Ugh. And so says that she can't come.
That's Jason.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
He sucks. In some accounts, as the Calydonian boar hunt is starting up, she's coming back from her trip with the Argonauts. In some accounts.
Yeah.
But Meleager comes across her in this meadow, and he sees her beat the shit out of these centaurs.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm in love with you. And he goes to her and he says, mighty huntress, I am gathering a hunting party to take down a boar that has been ravaging my kingdom. Would you join me? And Atalanta is like, sure, I got nothing else to do. So he brings her back. The hunting party gathers in Calydon. Mm-hmm. And one morning they wake up very, very early before the sun has even risen. And they go to a plateau where the boar has already, it has torn up the earth and, all of the buildings around it are broken. They go to this plateau, and some of the hunters set traps. Some of the hunters bring their hounds, and they sit there and they wait. Mm-hmm. Just as morning breaks, they hear a sound in the forest of trees cracking and breaking. Ooh. And the Calydonian boar races out towards them. The ground thunders. None of them have ever seen anything like this. And again, like, this thing is pitch black. It has bristles as long as spears. It has lightning in its mouth, and eyes are blood red. As this thing is approaching, the hounds that some of the hunters have brought run towards it, barking, trying to scare the boar towards the hunters. And the boar flattens them.
No!
It tramples trees, and it
dogs.
leaves craters in the earth where it steps, right?
Oh, poor babies.
This thing is a monster.
Yeah.
So all of these hunters are sitting in wait, and then they hear this thundering, and then this monstrosity erupts from the forest towards them. And chaos immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. Suddenly all of their plans are like, nah.
Yeah.
It's every man for himself now, bye.
All of the hunters throw their spears, right? And they are trying to hit this boar while it's still far away. And one of the hunters cries out for Apollo to help guide the spear to its target.
Yeah.
Right? And Apollo
No.
does his best.
He does? I was going to say, because Apollo is Artemis's brother. You would think that he'd be like, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what you want me to do.
He does his best, and the spear hits its mark. But while it is in flight, Artemis severs the spearhead from the spear. So they basically just whack it with a stick, and this makes the boar angry.
I can't tell whose side I'm on. Sorry, go ahead. Artemis is so cool.
So all of these spears fly towards this boar, and by the time they hit, they are blunt, and they just clatter against this thing's bristles, and it stops, and it whirls on them.
Oh.
And it is now angry. Smoke is coming out of its nostrils. It is furious, and it races towards them. Nobody can hit this thing. Like, swords glance off of it and everything, because this thing is imbued with power by Artemis the hunter.
Yeah.
Nothing is going to hurt it,
Goodness
right?
gracious.
This thing is whirling around. It guts a man. It just gores straight through his stomach, intestines everywhere. Absolutely disgusting. It hamstrings someone. There's a description of a hunter racing up to it, and the boar, faster than anyone thought was possible, is suddenly behind him, and it just gores straight through his hamstrings and then leaves him to bleed out.
Oh,
this
God.
thing is horrifying.
Also, guys, there is nothing more violent than ancient mythology.
Yes.
Read any, like, the Iliad is the most violent thing I've ever heard, and Ovid gives it a run for its money in this. Gross.
Yeah. Nestor, who you might know from the story of the Trojan War, is one of the hunters here. Oh. And Ovid says he might not have made it to the Trojan War if not for the fact that he took his spear, dug it into the ground, and used it to vault up into a tree away from the boar. And the boar sees this, and it races at the tree, and it tries to knock it down, and then it realizes that the tree is too big, so it sharpens its tusks on the tree and then whips back towards the other hunters. This thing is fucking terrifying.
Oh my God. And Nestor's just like, good. He's swinging around on this tree like, no.
Yep. So this thing is just destroying these hunters. And the people who haven't already been, like, injured or gored through are, like, scattered everywhere. They are doing everything that they can to hit this thing, and nothing is damaging it. So one guy, he takes his battle axe and he runs towards the thing, and he says, like, hey, I can do this. I'm gonna kill it. Good for me. And the Calydonian boar just fully skewers him in the dick and kills him.
God.
So while the boar is distracted, Atalanta has been waiting for her moment.
Yeah.
And she's fired a couple of shots, and none of them have hit. But she takes a second while this thing is distracted by ripping a guy's entire abdomen apart, and she fires an arrow.
Yeah.
And she aims a little bit too high, but it glances across behind the boar's right ear.
Yeah.
And blood streaks out from behind it. And it's not a killing blow.
Yeah.
But this thing is injured now, right?
Okay.
And she, like, everyone is like, oh my God, thank God.
Somebody
it can
hit.
bleed. And Meleager sees this, and he's like, Atalanta, holy shit, that was so cool. And she's like, thank you so much. And he's like, no, listen, that was so cool. And she's like, yeah, but we still have this thing to deal with. And he's like, okay, I just want you to know that was super cool.
He loves her so much.
So all of the men are infuriated because now Meleager is praising this woman who at the beginning, all of the hunters assembled were like,
Why
we
is
can't
she
have
here?
a woman as part of this hunt.
Ugh.
Like, that's not right.
I'm really standing Meleager right now, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So all the other guys are like, okay, well, we're not going to be beaten by a woman. So they all redouble their efforts and they are going after this thing with everything that they have, right?
Mm-hmm.
One man is finally able to hit with his spear and he skewers the boar's eye, right? And this thing whips around furiously. Meleager takes the opportunity to get behind the boar and he throws his spear and it goes through the boar's back.
Mm-hmm.
And the boar turns to look at him, and Meleager, while it's like gnashing its teeth and like throwing its head back and forth, and its tusks are whipping through the air, Meleager gets in really close and he pushes the spear in and kills it. This thing finally falls, right? There is gore everywhere. So this is like Meleager finally defeats this boar.
Yeah.
It is laying dead on the ground. And everyone is like, they take a moment to breathe and they're like, holy shit, Meleager, that was badass. And he's like, yeah, woo, that was crazy. And they're like, that was amazing. Like, you deserve all the honor for this. And then Meleager says, I don't deserve all the honor for this. Atalanta deserves this honor. She was the first of us to strike this boar.
Yeah.
And this is in part because he is down bad.
He
but
really
also,
wants to get laid.
Yeah. But also, you know, he's like, that was an amazing blow. And without that, like, we wouldn't have been able to take it down. We would have lost because we were losing hope. Atalanta deserves the credit for this as well.
Oh.
And so they...
Yes!
They skin the boar, and he gives her the boar's hide and its tusks, and he says, this is your honor, these are your trophies. That was a good hunt. And Atalanta, it says, was almost as pleased by the gifter as by the gift.
Oh! She's like, you know, I'm rethinking that vow of chastity.
Yeah. However...
Oh, no.
Meleager's uncles.
No, Plexiglass and Toxius! I forgot about them!
Toxius and Flexipus.
Sorry, Flexipus. Go ahead.
Gross. Are furious. They're like, she should never have been here in the first place. And the idea that you're splitting your honor with a woman
Oh my god.
is an affront to all of us here and to this kingdom. And Meleager is like, if you're saying that it's my honor, then I choose to share it.
Yeah,
and
good.
It's not your place to tell me that I can't do that.
Fucking love this guy.
And Toxius and Plexippus are like, no, sorry, that's not how we do things here. And they grab the hide out of Atalanta's hands. And Meleager flips his fucking lid.
Yes, he does. Go berserk.
He says,
This is the hottest man in this entire book.
you scavenger of someone else's honors. Now you will learn how great a difference there is between an action and a threat.
This is a bad story.
He also, sorry, I have to say this also because otherwise this feels like a mild overreaction, maybe.
Sure,
but also specifically,
but
Toxius and Plexippus talk to Atalanta and they grab this out of her hands and they say, you know, like, your boyfriend won't be able to protect you forever, so you better be careful.
I think, honestly...
Which is also...
it's a threat.
Yeah.
But also, I will say, I didn't think, even without that, it was an overreaction. I think this is how we should be able to act in office settings when people are mean to women.
Yes. Well, so he says this. He says, you will learn how great a difference there is between an action and a threat. Also, especially because they have now threatened Atalanta.
Yeah.
And he flies into a rage and he kills them both.
Good.
He murders them both, and also two other guys who were mean to Atalanta. Who I didn't research, but he's like, no, fuck this. Fuck no. She just helped me slay this boar, and you were useless, and you all die.
God.
So
fucking loving Meleager.
Yeah, he's great.
Are you gonna go into really quickly how Atalanta gets married? Because I don't know that full story. Is there like a foot race of some kind?
I have the notes on that.
Can you do that really at the end of this? Because I really want to know it. I'm so into this.
I fucking love Atalanta.
Yes.
I should also say, I looked at a bunch of different versions of this story. This is specifically mostly the one from Ovid's Metamorphoses, but there are a bunch of different stories and a couple of different interpretations. I am taking the most feminist of these interpretations because I think it's more fun.
Yeah, of course. So we get to say what we like. Yeah. There is a really fucking good, if you want an actual expert to do this and rather just two fangirls who love reading this, go listen to the podcast let's talk about myths, baby, with Liv, and listen to her whole entire thing on Atalanta. I started listening to it, and again, I wasn't in the mood. But she does an amazing job, and she also only tells badass things. So
Yeah.
that's amazing. I'll link that in the show notes, too.
So, Meleager kills his 2 uncles.
Good.
And also 2 other guys. And then they bring the hide and the tusks back to the city where his mother, the queen, and his father, the king, are waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And word has passed ahead of them that they have been successful, and Althea is already thanking the gods for keeping her son safe and everything like that.
She better be thanking Artemis, too, just in case. She better to give Calydonian Boar number 2.
And her son walks through the gates carrying this boar pelt, and she throws herself into his arms, and she's like, oh, my son, I'm so glad that you're safe. And then she sees over his shoulder the bodies of her 2 brothers.
Oh, no.
And she says, what happened? And he says, I killed them.
Yeah, he did.
And she runs away crying.
No, wait!
And she is caught in this moral dilemma because 2 of her brothers have been killed, right? And so it's a question of honor and of, like, family duty. But they were killed by her son. Mm-hmm. So the question of taking vengeance is, do I take vengeance on my son, or do I just accept that my family has been dishonored by, this murder? She takes out the hunk of wood.
Oh, no.
And she has her servants light a fire. And then she sits for hours in front of the fire, trying to decide what to do. And at last, she throws the piece of wood into the fire.
What an asshole.
Meleager and all of his men, the hunters in Atalanta, are outside the city walls celebrating their success. And Meleager drops his goblet of wine, and he says something is wrong, and then he bursts into flames.
Whoa!
And dies. Afterwards, Althea, his mother, is so filled with grief and regret for what she's done.
Who the fuck cares about Althea? Sorry, I am in legitimate shock.
Yeah. She is so regretful of what she's done that she kills herself. And Meleager's 2 sisters are so broken by losing him that they mourn excessively, is what it says in the story, where they beat their breasts until they bleed and they cry and scream over his corpse.
Cheeks.
Exactly.
That's what they're supposed to do, though, right? That's not excessive for Greek standards.
And Artemis, or Diana, sees this, and she's like, good, at last. I've taken my vengeance on this family for not giving me proper tribute. And she turns these daughters into Meleagrides, which are guinea fowl, like guinea hens, turns them into birds.
Yeah.
And she says, I've finally gotten my vengeance, and now the story is over. And that's the end of the story.
I'm so upset.
Yeah.
I loved him.
I also loved him, and it is very upsetting. As a little footnote to the story, the rest of the story of Atalanta. Mm-hmm. Atalanta continues to roam the countryside as a huntress and as like a sort of like wandering hero. Eventually, her father hears of her deeds and he comes and finds her and he takes her in again. He tries to marry her off.
No, you don't get any say-so in her life, you son of a bitch.
But also, when she was younger, living in the forest with the hunters, an oracle told her that if she was married, it would be her undoing.
Yeah.
So in order to prevent herself from being married off, she says that she will only marry a man who can beat her in a foot race, because she is the fastest person that there is, short of Hermes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she says that she will only marry someone who can beat her in a foot race. And also, if someone races against her and loses, they are executed.
Oh, to really make it so that they don't want to race her. Yeah, the stakes are
high.
Yeah.
And so hundreds of men come for Atalanta's hand, and she absolutely, like, wipes the dirt with them. Like, she kicks the shit. Like, they are not even close to as fast as her. Even a bunch of times she'll say, like, okay, I'll even give you a little bit of a head start. You can be wearing a tunic and I'll be wearing my full armor and all of my weapons. And she still kicks the shit out of them every time.
She's so cool. I
like,
love her so
she's
much.
so fast and so amazing, and I love her so much. A man named Hippomenes, young man, very beautiful man, comes to sort of see the sport of this, because this is something that, like, whenever someone challenges Atalanta for her hand...
Yeah, people want to see it.
Exactly. Like, it's like a tournament. So he goes to see it, and he lays eyes on Atalanta and falls in love immediately. Mm-hmm. And Atalanta, in some versions of the story, also sees him in the crowd and is like, Hottie. I wouldn't mind losing to him.
Hottie with a body.
So he challenges her to a foot race, and she accepts. He goes to the goddess Aphrodite, and he says, I really love this girl, but I have to beat her in a foot race, and I know that I can't beat her because she's so fast. Can you help me? And so Aphrodite gives Hippomenes the golden apples of the Hesperides, or the daughters of the evening. They're the same golden apples from the trials of Heracles. She gives him 3 golden apples that are irresistible, basically. Sort of like the golden apple of Eris.
Yeah.
This is a
They're all
continuing
from
theme.
Hera's garden, which is later on by Christians adopted into the Garden of Eden. And anyway.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
So Aphrodite gives him these 3 golden apples, and she's like, you know what to do. You have my blessing. And this is also in part because Atalanta has sort of been like, no, I'll never be with anyone. And that's an affront to Aphrodite, the goddess of love. So her like vow of chastity is kind of a spit in the face to Aphrodite. So she's like, all right, well, let's see you win now. So Hippomenes...
How about these apples? Aphrodite.
Hippomenes takes these 3 golden apples, right? And the morning of his race with Atalanta comes, and he hides the apples in his tunic. The foot race starts, and Atalanta is in her full plate armor and everything like that. And they are given the signal to start, and she is already past him. Like, she is so fast that he, like, he's not even a competitor. He's also not a racer. He's not, like,
he wasn't a runner.
Yeah. So he's like, I would have no chance. So he waits until she gets a little ways ahead, and then he goes, hey! And he takes one of his golden apples out and, like, catches her eye with it and then throws it behind him, and she is irresistibly compelled to stop and, like, run back and get it. And so it allows him to get head.
Atalanta.
Yeah. And she's angry.
I'd be pissed.
But there's nothing that she can do. And so he keeps doing that with the remaining 2 apples until he gets to the finish line, Atalanta behind him. And he's like, well, I guess I won your hand. And she's like, I mean, if it had to be someone. And the oracular prophecy was that it would be her undoing. Atalanta is no longer the fastest in the land because he beat her in a race.
By cheating.
But they live happily ever after-ish. So
that's cute. That's okay. There's like a whole life of Atalanta. I like seeing that she had like kind of a crush love story that ended wrong. Like I like knowing that she had other things going before this guy. And
yeah.
She has a whole life.
Yeah, she's amazing. Yeah. 2 or 3 things that I wanted to bring up. Oh, there was one line in this specific translation of Metamorphoses. I don't know if it's in the other ones, but one of the lines is that when Meleager first sees Atalanta, the line is, oh, fortunate the fellow that she chooses, if she should choose one. Which is like, feminist king, bare minimum, but like, feminism.
I have wondered a lot because I took Iphis and Ianthe from this version of Ovid's Metamorphoses too. I wonder a lot if Charles Martin is giving us a fairly feminist translation because he never fucking misses in any single one of these. He has so many amazing lines that I'm like, either Ovid was a huge feminist or Charles Martin was really fucking great about his choices.
Yeah.
Maybe both.
Yeah, so I really like that about Meleager also, that he was like, if she were to be with someone, they would be really lucky.
I hope she chooses me.
I sure hope. One of the other things is that some people say that the moral of the story of the Calydonian Boar is like Atalanta was protected by Artemis and everything like that. And so while the Calydonian Boar was part of Artemis's plan to destroy Calydon, Atalanta was as well, where the idea is that Artemis sent Atalanta in to like foster dispute amongst these men. So that's one interpretation, which is just something to think about. Yeah. There's also 2 paintings by Peter Paul Rubens, who lived from 1577 to 1640. Really great painter. I really love his stuff. These 2 paintings, one of them is Meleager and Atalanta, and it's a portrait of Atalanta and Meleager slaying the boar, right? And there are all these men in the background whose faces are like kind of, it doesn't really matter who they are.
Yeah.
But then there is Meleager who is like skewering this boar.
Yeah.
And he looks like a hunter.
Yeah.
And then there's Atalanta, who looks like an avenging goddess.
Yes.
She has, like, her bow drawn, and, like, she has, like, musculature across her chest, and she has her hair out and everything like that. She looks like Meleager is doing some badass stuff. Atalanta is fucking,
Can
oh
you
my god.
can we add that to our Instagram?
Yes.
Yes, we're going to put that on our social media, guys.
There's that painting, and then there's also a painting which is laid out almost identically. And it is the painting of Diana's hunt, the hunt of Artemis, where it's a bunch of Artemis's nymphs and Artemis who are hunting down a bunch of stags. And it's almost exactly the same composition. And Artemis is doing almost exactly the same thing as Atalanta, except that Atalanta looks better doing it. Also, a lot of the art around the Calydonian boar is specifically art of Atalanta.
Yes.
Slaying the boar, which I love because the whole story is men being like, she can't do this, she can't possibly be remembered for this, and that's all that we remember from the Caledonian. Like, there are other people who are credited, but she's the main
Would not have remembered
thing.
the Caledonian boar without Atalanta there.
Exactly. Like, they were like, this honor shouldn't belong to a woman, and then artists were like, well, 40 guys isn't as interesting as one gorgeous warrior.
Yes,
yes.
Oh, so fucking cool.
Yeah, I love it. Anyways.
So, I love that we did have a theme. We said Ovid's Metamorphoses, but that we both chose badass women that start with A.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Bring your A game. Ba-boop-ba-doo-doo. I think I meant to beatbox there and it turned into Betty Boop. I don't know. I'm sick. You have to be nice to me.
Boop boxing is what we call it.
Betty Boop boxing. Great job. Great fucking job.
These.
Also, I'm so excited to know that story now.
Yeah, I love Atalanta a lot. I think that she's incredibly badass, and there are a bunch of she's peripheral to a lot of other stories.
Yeah, she comes up all the time.
Yeah, and she's like one of the only like female mortal heroines in Greek mythology, and she's very cool about it, and I love her.
Yeah.
Also, a really cool thing is that Atalanta literally means like of equal worth, like balanced. And she's described as being sort of equal parts feminine and masculine, where she has like severe features that are very, very beautiful and everything like that. But it's also, a lot of these things in the story of Atalanta are kind of like these ideas in tension, where it's like she was saved by a bear who was opposed to hunters, but then she was also saved by the hunters and stuff like that. So she's both like the hunter and the hunted, but a bear is also a hunter.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. And like this idea of...
So she was connected to everything.
Yeah, she's like, it's like she's, her father wanted a boy, but she was born a girl, but then was raised as a boy.
Yeah.
And then was respected for being a girl and stuff like that. Like, it's all of these ideas are held in tension in her story, which I think is really cool.
You would think that her patron would be Nemesis with all of that, like Nemesis with the scales. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. Also, we love an androgynous queen. I was going to say androgynous queen, but it kind of defeats the purpose.
That's Atalanta, man.
That's
Defying
Atalanta.
all binaries.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I fucking loved it.
That was so much fun.
If you have any thoughts or comments, reach out to us on our social medias. Sort of the Story on TikTok, Instagram, Goodreads. I don't know if you can reach out on Goodreads. Give us a weird review. Leave a weird cryptic review on a book and see if we find it. That might be fun. You can also send us an email at sortofthestory@gmail.com. We got another email.
Oh, that's fun.
I forgot to tell you because I answered it for us.
Nice. Also, if you go to our link tree, which is available on any of those platforms, you can join our Discord, which would be great because we would love to hang out and talk with you.
Hannah, a listener, said, I'm reaching out to tell you a quick personal story and also thank you for what you do. I've always loved being read to going back to childhood, and listening to you has really hit that spot for me. It got me thinking about when my older sister used to read to me as a child, which is adorable. We're your older sisters now. I had a collection of stories, this big book with many stories in it. It was meant for children. When you told the Tell-All story, it reminded me of this book. In the book, there was a watered-down children's version of that, where an old woman dug up a bone for her dog, and a ghost came back saying, "Give me back my bone." And after being tormented by this ghost for hours, she finally flings the bone at the ghost and tells him to leave. I couldn't stop thinking about this story anytime I re-listened to that specific episode, but then it got to the point, anytime I listen to the podcast, I think of that story. I love that she listened to Tell-All over and over again, like, damn it. What is that book?
That also, there's a story called The Big Toe.
Yeah, you told it on the Tell-All episode.
Yeah, okay.
Scary stories to tell in the
dark.
dark.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She said, my family moves a lot, and many of my childhood things have been sold and donated, and I have very little sentimental items, so I assumed that we didn't have it. And then she said that, to my absolute delight and some tears, it was at my house. My parents had kept it, and her mom and dad let her have it.
That's so nice.
I know. But just like your Tell-All story. reconnect with somebody to their childhood things.
Aw.
So sweet. Hannah, thank you for writing. That made me smile. You guys are sweet all the time, and we love you. And we want you to wear masks. Don't be like me. I felt like I had the worst strep throat I've ever had for about 4 solid days.
Be safe out there.
With no relief.
We love you.
Wear a mask with a filter in it or a KN95.
Mm-hmm.
The mask with a filter in it is the bare minimum, apparently. And remember that you are only immune, apparently, for up to 90 days, but most likely for 30.
Yep. So just be careful. Keep taking precautions. We hope that someday it will be safe enough that we can actually maybe even do things where we get to hang out with you guys. But
we would love to hang out with you, but can't happen now. I've learned my lesson.
Aw.
All right, guys. Have a wonderful freaking week, and we will we'll talk to you soon.
Oh, buddy.
I'm fading. Can you see it?
We'll see you next time,
Bye,
guys.
everybody.
Thanks.
And we're testing.
Testing. Testing positive.
We are.
Hey.
And we're testing positive. Well, one of us is at least.
Mm-hmm. I'm unkillable, so.
Okay, well, I'm not dead.
Not yet.
Oh my god. Testing.
What if we started calling our ball microphone the meatball and the cord that goes with it spaghetti? Can you grab the spaghetti and meatball?
I like it. And then this little guy that goes around it would be the plate. Can you plate
bread?
Can you plate the spaghetti and meatball, please?
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. It's not bad.
Not bad at all.